Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
Tense moments in Lawndale. A man outside a home firing a weapon at officers, cars, and other homes. We have reaction to the dramatic conclusion.
An off-duty LAPD officer in trouble with the law for what he was allegedly doing in this part of Huntington Beach. Police say there are several victims and maybe more.
Security has increased at federal buildings across LA and the rest of the nation. What you can expect to see after the recent attack in Canada. Good evening, I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan.
Now, David Ona, welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. There are frayed nerves tonight in a Lawndale neighborhood after an intense standoff with a gunman ends with a suspect being shot. It happened at a home on 164th Street near Hawthorne Boulevard. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride is live with new reaction tonight. Melissa.
David, neighbors say that the suspect fired many rounds this afternoon, and we still don't know what prompted him to do that. Tonight, investigators remain here on scene. Armed with what appears to be an assault rifle, the suspect fires shots from the backyard of his home. The LA County Sheriff's Department SWAT team got the call just after 12:30 this afternoon. They blocked the driveway and approached the active shooter. He fires at the SWAT team, missing them, and reloads, then shoots into the air. But before he can take aim again, SWAT officers shot the suspect, wounding him in the back.
He was shooting not only at deputies, he was shooting at vehicles, he was shooting at other residents and other houses surrounding his residence.
The suspect was transported to a local hospital. We're told he's in stable condition. The Sheriff's Department says the officers were not hurt and neighbors were evacuated.
He let off a few rounds, so it was a lot. It was scary.
Schools close to the scene were put on lockdown.
We looked on the news on my phone, and they said it was a shootout on 164th, and I was thinking, like, my block, I live right up the streets. I'm, like, hoping it's not my block, so I tried to get home as fast as I could to come see and check it out.
Hours after the shooting, residents on the 4200 block of 164th Street were still not allowed back in, as deputies counted shell casings and investigated the use of force. Mike Garcia owns a home on that street, 2 doors down from where the shooting happened.
I saw these armored SWAT vehicles coming on the other side of the freeway, and I thought, wow, there must have been a shootout. And then I started getting the social media text and everything, said, hey, this looks like it, it's very, very close to your place.
And tonight, some people who do live on the street are being allowed back in, but those who live very close to the scene are not being allowed to return home just yet. Reporting live in Lawndale, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Melissa, thank you. The pilot of a military jet is dead after crashing into a field near a Ventura County Naval Air Station. The plane crashed and then disintegrated around 5:15 tonight. According to the FAA, the plane was a Hawker Hunter Mk-58, which is a single-seat fighter jet. The pilot was a retired fighter pilot working for a company that provides tactical training to the U.S. military. His name is not being released. No one on the ground was hurt. The NTSB is now investigating the cause of this crash.
Pomona police are wearing black ribbons across their badges today. They are mourning the death of one of their own. SWAT team member 45-year-old officer Sean Diamond died this morning after being wounded while trying to serve a warrant. An honor guard escorted his body from Huntington Memorial Hospital, where he died, to the coroner's office. And Diamond's mother had some moving comments.
I hugged most of those officers. It was fabulous. It was beautiful, and I felt so honored. And right now I'm feeling real humbled to be his mom. And I'm going to miss him. I don't know how I live a life without John.
Officer Sean Diamond was helping serve a search warrant at the San Gabriel home of a suspected bike gang member. The fatal shot came from inside as he was breaking through a metal door.
An LAPD officer finds himself on the wrong side of the law. He's been arrested, accused of exposing himself to women in Huntington Beach. As Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Frere reports, investigators are now looking for more potential victims.
Since March, police say several women reported seeing a man near the Bolsa Chica wetlands who exposed himself to them.
Some were jogging, some were just walking, some were walking to school.
Huntington Beach police arrested Ryan Gallagher, a 33-year-old off-duty LAPD officer, last week after detectives had the area under surveillance near the dead end of Bolsa Chica Street.
He was on foot. He was dressed in shorts, and he went down into the jogging trails, and they watched him, and then he on the public path committed a lewd act, which I don't want to get into specifics because, again, this investigation is there's still interviews being conducted.
Police are not yet releasing Gallagher's booking photo because they say they don't want to harm the investigation by showing his picture before other victims have identified him.
We still feel safe here. You know, we always travel in groups, and it's just an unfortunate event, especially to happen to someone who is, you know, here to protect you, like a police officer.
Others using the trail say they know exactly what to do if they were approached.
Whip out my pepper spray and call the police. And move my children quickly.
Police say Gallagher lives in the area where the crimes took place.
It's fortunate that he was caught, so he can't keep doing it to others.
Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Other possible victims or anyone with information is asked to call the Huntington Beach Police Department at 714-375-5066. Meantime, Gallagher has been placed on administrative leave and is awaiting his first court appearance.
A week after an attack on Canada's Parliament, the Department of Homeland Security is beefing up security at government buildings in the U.S. Authorities are increasingly concerned about terror groups inciting people to conduct lone wolf attacks. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda takes a closer look at the new security measures.
Federal buildings always have a lot of security, and now there will be more. Officials increasing security at more than 9,500 government buildings across the nation. The move comes after the most recent terror attacks in Canada. A 32-year-old Muslim convert killed a Canadian soldier and opened fire inside the Canadian Parliament. That has authorities here worried. Terrorist organizations like ISIS are encouraging strikes against police and military in the U.S. by homegrown terrorists.
There could be literally thousands, potentially, of people like them. Disenfranchised, lonely, not successful in life, angry. Those are the folks sometimes are the hardest to figure out, and they're also maybe the hardest to stop.
Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson says the new security measures are a precautionary step. Quote, the reasons for this action are self-evident. The continued public calls by terrorist organizations for attacks on the homeland and elsewhere, including against law enforcement and other government officials. Given world events, prudence dictates a heightened vigilance in the protection of U.S. government installations and our personnel.
They're looking now at lone wolves to attack instruments that represent Western governments, basically.
We spoke to people today in downtown Los Angeles about these extra security measures.
I wouldn't mind security because I know it's going to benefit for my safety. So as long as I feel safe, yes, I don't really mind.
If somebody's really, determined to do some harm, then there's not, I don't know how much extra security measures will help.
You never know. I mean, what happened in Canada could definitely happen here. And, it makes us who work downtown here feel safer.
I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Officials are not releasing the locations of where these security changes will take place.
Now to the front lines of the fight against ISIS. The stage is set for a fierce battle in the Syrian city of Kobani. In an effort to liberate the area from militants, 2 convoys of Kurdish fighters are making their way into the city from Turkey. Hundreds of people came out to cheer them on. Meantime, Free Syrian Army fighters are also entering the town, and the U.S. continues its offensive from the air. ISIS fighters invaded the area last month, killing some 800 people, and sending more than 200,000 others fleeing into Turkey.
Rap mogul Suge Knight and comedian Cat Williams have been arrested for allegedly stealing the camera from a paparazzi photographer. The alleged incident happened last month outside a Beverly Hills studio. Knight was arrested in Las Vegas today and held on $1 million bail because of a past conviction. Williams was arrested at an Inglewood courthouse where he was being arraigned today in a separate assault case.
Lava from Kilauea volcano continues its relentless march into the Hawaiian town of Pahoa. The red-hot lava is just yards away from the town's main road. Several outlying buildings have been destroyed, and 60 additional structures are in serious danger. Most of the town residents have already left, and those who remain have been told to keep their distance from the lava, and anyone with respiratory problems have been advised to stay indoors.
There's nothing to do about it besides try to, keep your spirits up in the process and help people who you can help.
It's pretty sad, yeah. We don't know what's going to happen from now on.
In a dramatic scene, aerial views show the lava slowly sweeping across the Pahoa town cemetery. The lava picked up speed last week. It's now moving about 15 yards an hour.
All right, let's check in with Jonathan Novak because Halloween is just around the corner. Perhaps some rain.
Yeah, perhaps some rain, perhaps some snow, cooler weather. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Today, though, was fantastic. It was way above average, anywhere from 6 to 12 degrees above normal. Fillmore hit 93. It was 90 in Pasadena. Riverside, you hit 93 degrees, about 12 degrees or so, 12, 13 degrees above average. Riverside right now, 71 this evening. It is a mild evening for some of us, a little bit cooler for others. In inland areas, we're seeing mid-70s from Ontario over to Burbank and Van Nuys. But at the coast, we're hanging out in the upper 60s. Santa Monica, Long Beach, 68, 69 degrees respectively, and 71 again right there in Riverside. So temperatures tomorrow are going to start cooling down a lot. Plus, we're going to start turning our attention to the rain forecast and maybe some snow as well, with a front that is right about here now, but it's going to make progress toward the next 48 hours, our area, and that's going to change things up big time as we're going through Halloween. For tomorrow, though, about 60 to start, some clouds, more than you've been seeing lately. In fact, it's going to be a partly cloudy kind of day. Temperatures in the mid-70s, already cooling down for tomorrow. I'll tell you how cold it gets. Rain, snow, it's all in the 7-day coming up.
Jonathan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
California is now requiring a 21-day quarantine for people traveling from Ebola-stricken areas who have had contact with infected patients. News comes as a Northern California doctor who just returned from treating Ebola patients in Liberia has entered quarantine. Officials say the extent of the individual's isolation will be determined by county health officials on a case-by-case basis. Meantime, the president is cautioning against taking measures that might discourage volunteers from treating Ebola patients. A nurse from Maine challenged the state's quarantine policy by leaving her home tonight to talk to reporters. And nurses at UCLA's Reagan Medical Center are demanding more training and proper equipment for treating potential Ebola patients. The medical center conducted a preparedness exercise last week. While there are no reported or confirmed cases of Ebola in California, officials at UC Hospital say they are ready to treat any Ebola virus. Union nurses disagree.
We are trying to get the right hazardous material suits, and once we get those, the training is going to have to be redone. Every one of us would rise to the occasion. What we want to do is to not have to have that risk any more than it already is.
UCLA released a response saying, quote, "The safety and health of the patients we serve and all those who care for them is paramount in everything we do. This includes providing personal protective equipment that meets the latest guidelines and requiring extensive training for how to put on and remove this equipment for those who would care for a possible Ebola patient."
Up next, the TSA has found all sorts of strange things hidden in people's luggage, but a cannon? Take a look when we come back.
Plus, new information today about that massive rocket explosion. What caused the big blast? The latest on the investigation.
And a woman dressed as a zombie arrested twice in one night. We'll tell you why.
News involving the Coen brothers' next big idea. I'm George Pinocchio. That's in tonight's Hollywood Wrap. Plus, the newest star on the Walk of Fame, and Taylor Swift heads back to school. What she's doing there next.
TSA agents find all sorts of things in travelers' luggage, but this was apparently a first. Someone flying to California from Hawaii recently checked in with the barrel of a cannon. It was spotted in a checked bag at United Airlines passenger who was headed to San Francisco. Passenger was eventually cleared to fly, but the airline made separate arrangements for transporting the cannon. And in case you're wondering, no, the cannon was not loaded.
People in coastal Virginia are being warned to stay away from potentially hazardous wreckage a day after the explosion of an unmanned Antares rocket. The Orbital Sciences rocket had just lifted off on a supply mission to the International Space Station when it blew up. No one was hurt. Investigators are now hard at work figuring out what went wrong, and they're looking closely at the 1960s area Russian-built engines used in the rocket's first stage. And just hours after that explosion came the successful launch of the Atlas V rocket from Cape Canaveral. The rocket's mission is to place a GPS satellite in orbit around the Earth. The satellite will be used for both military and civilian purposes.
Airplanes may soon get rid of windows, all in the name of giving you a better view. Sounds impossible. Well, take a look at this. A British company has come up with a concept that eliminates windows and replaces them with floor-to-ceiling high-def screens. They would display panoramic views captured by cameras mounted on the plane or scenes from a menu of pre-recorded images. Screens would also be put on the back of passenger seats. The company believes the idea could be a reality within 10 years.
Well, now to a story getting a ton of attention on ABC7's Facebook page with more than 467,000 views so far. It is the mugshot of a woman arrested in Gates, New York on suspicion of DUI while made up to look like a zombie. And believe it or not, the story gets even stranger. After police booked Catherine Butler for DUI, a friend took her home from the police station, and less than 3 hours later, Butler was pulled over again and charged with DUI for a second time, this time without the zombie getup.
Crazy. Jonathan Novak's here. Speaking of crazy.
My jaw's dropping. It was dropping on the airplane story, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And then on that one, it just stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Hey, we have so much to talk about. Rain, snow, cold weather, all just in time for Halloween.
Good.
Will it be a wet Halloween when you're out in the early evening or not? I'm going to tell you in just a moment. Live Meganopolis 7000 HD. We are dry right now, but things will be changing in about 36 hours or so, even maybe a little bit less than that. We see that as we go through our highs from today, we are way above average, anywhere from 6 to 12 degrees above average. In downtown, it was 85. Normally, our high is 77, so there you go. It was a very toasty day in the inland spots with 90s in a lot of cities and towns in Southern California. 68 right now in Los Angeles and downtown. 64 Palmdale, 71 Santa Clarita. These are current temperatures. 64 in Victorville. Big Bear, 49. Get ready for maybe a little bit of snow this weekend. 69 rather in Long Beach, and 68 again downtown Los Angeles. Fullerton is looking in the 70s. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees warmer than it was this time last night. We had a warmer day, but by tomorrow, temperatures are dropping already. By Friday, they are much, much cooler than you saw today. And then by Saturday, forget about it, okay? So high pressure is still kind of our weather maker, but it's getting nudged off to the east, and we're seeing a front that's going to be rolling through. Now, circulation with an area low pressure, which is right here, is counterclockwise, and you see right here that trough low pressure, and then circulation around high pressure is clockwise. So we get that circulation pulling in some of these clouds from the south as that trough low pressure approaches. So for tomorrow, those clouds will be a bit of a factor, and we'll see them in the morning and the afternoon. Then we really start seeing the clouds thicken up later on Friday and into Saturday. Check out the future rainfall. Look on Thursday afternoon, there are those clouds I just mentioned. Friday, the rain stays to the north for most of the day. If you're going out early, you should be fine, but by Friday night, chance of showers into Saturday morning, even some snow in the high Sierra, and also for us, a chance of some light snow in the mountains of Southern California. Highs tomorrow are going to be in the lower 80s in Glendale, upper 70s in Los Angeles. Let's cut to that 70 forecast and lay it all out for you. Tomorrow's dry, partly cloudy, upper 70s. Not a bad day overall. Friday and Saturday, we cool down big time. Chance of rain late into Saturday morning, and then we'll have a beautiful day on Sunday as we warm back up into next week. Valley's IE, 83, partly cloudy, definitely cooler. Friday, 72 for a high, 67 on Saturday, and a 50% shot at some showers up to possibly a quarter of an inch by the end of Saturday, really the middle of Saturday, because it should be gone by Saturday morning into the early afternoon. The mountains, a shower late with some snow possible, a high of 42. On Saturday, it's going to be a cold weekend for you. The high desert, mainly just winds kicking up, but a shot even for you for a couple of showers on Friday night into Saturday. We're going to have more on the forecast coming up in a few minutes. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Tonight's Hollywood Wrap, the latest Walk of Fame star is unveiled.
Plus, Taylor Swift admits she's a bookworm. Here's George Pinocchio with all the details.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to start on a movie note right now. Oscar-winning brothers and directors Joel and Ethan Coen have a release date for their next film. But we have to wait until February of 2016 to see it. Hail Caesar is a comedy about a day in the life of a movie studio fixer. It will star George Clooney, Josh Brolin, Ralph Fiennes, Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson, and Jonah Hill. Taylor Swift's whirlwind promotional tour for her new album sent her back to school today, spending time with a group of teens and tweens. The superstar made a stop today on her busy promotional tour to talk about books. Taylor shared her passion for reading with some lucky New York City public school kids, and 100 more joined in via Skype. She says reading got her through many tough times.
I could escape to this other world where I could go to a different place and I could read about other characters' feelings and other characters' lives and their triumphs and their downfalls, and it took me to a place that alleviated the pain of my reality, and that's what music does for me.
Her new album, 1989, is on track to sell at least 1 million copies during its first week of release. If that happens, Swift will become the first artist to have had 3 consecutive albums sell more than 1 million units in 1 week. Kaylee Cuoco is the latest star to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's number 2,532. Now, you may remember Kaylee got her big TV break on 8 Simple Rules with the late John Ritter. And she requested her star be as close to her late friend as possible. So it's only a few stars away. Kaylee, a girl from Camarillo, called getting her star a dream come true, saying she'll be forever grateful. At her ceremony today, her co-stars from The Big Bang Theory were on hand to support their friend, who was clearly touched by what this day means to her.
I'm completely honored. I feel completely blessed and extremely touched. All my friends and family know that I never get nervous. You've never seen me nervous. And I think I've been nervous twice in my entire life, and this is one of them. I've been nervous all week. I've had a stomachache because I'm so overwhelmed with love and emotion, and I'm truly touched. I can't believe.
In her speech, Kaylee thanked a lot of people, most notably her parents, who drove her from audition to audition when she was a kid. Coming up tonight on the news at 11 o'clock on ABC7, Renee Russo, who's in a new movie with Jake Gyllenhaal called Nightcrawler, and she plays a big boss in a television newsroom.
Oh,
okay, that sounds fun.
Well, we're familiar with that. Thanks, George. Well, we have some breaking news, and Dodger fans may not like this. The Giants are the World Series champions. They just wrapped it up a few seconds ago. They had a great pitcher. They win 3-2. Baumgartner they brought in after just 2 days rest, and he did it again.
Yeah, condolences to all the Royals fans, though.
Yeah, it was a close one. It was an exciting game.
Yeah, right. Well, up next, the A-list actor calling on his fans.
Highlights in sports. I forgot to say that. Sorry about that.
All right.
Muffin, the kitten, is on the road to recovery, and we'll show you how he's doing today.
And later, a UPS guy and how he's handling a $12,000 package. What happened to handle with care?
Muffin, the formerly paralyzed cat, has been released from the hospital, and as we told you earlier, he underwent surgery yesterday to remove a tracking chip that was accidentally lodged in his spine, causing him paralysis on his left side. Muffin isn't out of the woods quite yet, but doctors say they expect him to make a full recovery. Nearly $6,000 have been raised for Muffin's care so far. Muffin has gotten a lot of attention online. More than 300,000 of you saw his story on ABC7 Facebook page.
New Batman wants to help save the day for some real-life bats. Ben Affleck is raising awareness about a serious problem that's received very little attention.
This bat and other species have been dying to the extent that they're on the verge of extinction. But luckily, you can do something to help. SaveBats.org.
Bats are crucial to pollinating plants and spreading seeds here in California and elsewhere, but their population is being decimated by disease. In addition to raising awareness, the makers of the upcoming Batman vs. Superman movie are also donating some of the movie's sets to be repurposed as actual houses for bats.
Interesting. We are updating the evening's top stories next at 8:30.
Including an update on a man firing his weapon near homes stopped by SWAT officers.
Plus, a decades-old neo-Nazi affiliation for a local town council candidate is coming back in the campaign. And tonight, what the candidate is saying about his past.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, rattled nerves in Lawndale after a tense standoff with a gunman. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Suspect identified as 23-year-old Travis Hare opened fire on cars, other homes, and sheriff's deputies. ended with Hare being shot and taken into custody. He's in stable condition. During the standoff, crews evacuated the neighborhood for blocks surrounding the gunman's home. Some of those evacuated have been allowed back into their homes, but those living closest to the scene are still being kept away.
In Huntington Beach, investigators are looking for more potential victims after an off-duty LAPD officer was arrested, accused of exposing himself to women. Police say since March, several women have reported seeing the man near the Bolsa Chica wetlands. The officer, 33-year-old Ryan Gallagher, was arrested last week after detectives had the area under surveillance. Other potential victims are asked to call Huntington Beach Police.
Another big story tonight. Some Los Angeles police officers are being investigated for excessive force. This after a 22-year-old man says he suffered cuts and taser injuries during an arrest. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cota-Robles reports a charge against the man was dropped today in court.
22-year-old Clinton Alford walks with crutches nearly 2 weeks after his arrest in South Los Angeles. That arrest left the involved LAPD officers on administrative leave and the focus of an excessive force investigation. These images released by attorney Kerry Harper show Alford with taser marks on his back and stitches on his ear. Today, Alford didn't speak himself as he stood alongside his sister and mother.
I'm just happy just to see my son is alive.
Kerry Harper claims her client was face down, attempting to surrender when he was kicked repeatedly in the head.
In broad daylight, the police feel emboldened enough to do these vicious acts of violating the suspect's rights before he has a right to get to court.
Harper admits her client initially ran from officers when they grabbed his bicycle, but she says Alford gave up and believes evidence will show that he was handcuffed. She also says what happened was caught on surveillance video, which hasn't been released.
And I think if Chief Charlie Beck wants to be transparent, the chief will release it. He has the power to do so, no matter what he says. If he wants to be transparent, he will release it.
I spoke to police. They won't release any new information today regarding the investigation, but in a prior statement, Chief Beck said any officer that is found to abuse the public is not welcome in this department.
Hey, they can stay home forever. They can go ahead and just take forever off from the police force.
Alford's mother had this to say.
You almost killed my baby.
Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Mark Cota-Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Clinton Alford was initially charged with drug possession, for which he has pleaded not guilty, but a second charge of resisting arrest was dismissed this morning, and Alford is due back in court on December 1st. At that time, his attorney plans to file a motion to have that surveillance video released.
2 convicted sex offenders have pleaded not guilty to the rape and murder of 4 women in Orange County. 28-year-old Frank Cano and 45-year-old Stephen Dean Gordon, both of Anaheim, were ordered held without bail. Prosecutors say the men worked together to sexually assault and then kill 4 women, all while wearing GPS tracking devices ordered after prior sex crimes. One woman's body was found at a trash sorting plant. The others have not been found. Police say the victims frequented a Santa Ana neighborhood known for prostitution and drugs.
Local candidate's past is coming back to haunt him decades after being affiliated with a neo-Nazi party. Candidate Richard Bunk is running for a seat on the Apple Valley Town Council. An Eyewitness News Inland Empire reporter Leticia Juarez spoke with Bunk, who says he knew his past would come out when he ran for a political office.
The big issues in the race for town council in Apple Valley are water rates and jobs. But that's not what has this race heating up.
And getting a man like Richard Bunk elected, who's a known practicing neo-Nazi, will bring disgrace, dishonor, and horrible publicity for the high desert.
Russ Blewett is a city councilman in Hesperia, not Apple Valley. He says he normally wouldn't get involved in another community's race, but Richard Bunk is his one exception.
A public office is a public trust, and I believe that with all my heart. And I don't believe that I could trust a man like Richard Bunk.
Bunk says he's not surprised this is an issue. He says he's been forthcoming with his past association with the neo-Nazi party 4 decades ago.
Number one, I'm not a hater. I don't operate on hate. Number two, I'm not a white supremacist. I've never even considered myself that ever. I left that organization that I was associated with for about 9 months because I didn't agree with the rhetoric and I didn't agree with what they were doing. So
but there are still questions. 10 years ago, he inherited a church listed by the hate watchdog group, the Southern Poverty Law Center, as a white Christian identity church. Bunk claims that church is no longer active, but he does hold Bible studies.
They're just simply wrong on that. They've got bad information or whatever, and they've never come and talked to me and asked me anything about it.
His neo-Nazi past has some voters concerned.
It would concern me because just the history about, the neo-Nazi stuff, and it's just a concern on that.
No, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't know the guy personally, but I do know a little bit of the history, and I don't think I want to be involved in allowing someone who's got that kind of a past, in office.
But Bunk says voters have nothing to fear.
I'm not what they paint me to be.
Leticia Waters, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Former President Bill Clinton was in Southern California today, urging the public to head to the polls next week. He held his Get Out the Vote rally at Oxnard College. He's campaigning for the re-election of Congress members Julia Brownley and Dr. Raul Ruiz, as well as congressional candidate Pete Aguilar. Clinton today focused on the importance of voting for advocates of the middle class.
It is your life, your future, and you have to go vote for it by voting for these great people. So vote for Julia Brownley, vote for Raul Ruiz, vote for Pete Aguilar, and have a great victory on Tuesday. Thank you.
Brownley's Republican competitor Jeff Gorell's campaign released a statement saying, quote, "I think President Clinton's visit this morning is more proof that the Brownley campaign specifically and Democrats nationally are in panic mode."
The Big Bang Theory, evolution, yes, God did that. Those ideas were expressed by Pope Francis during a recent address at the Vatican about the evolving concepts of nature. Pope said the Big Bang doesn't contradict the Christian belief in creation. U.S. Catholic teaching has accepted evolution as part of God's creation process for over 50 years. Pope Francis' remarks realign the Church's ideas to the notion that there is no opposition between evolution and Catholic doctrine.
Next tonight, the hidden camera showing what it's like to walk down city streets. A young woman exposing what she calls nonstop harassment. The cat calls at every turn. The video is going viral and creating all kinds of outrage. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
In just 10 hours, Shoshana Roberts catcalled more than 100 times. Harassment she says she endures every day. This video, now viewed about 8.5 million times, posted just yesterday.
Hey, look at that. It's $5,000.
The viral experiment, all part of a PSA about street harassment. To capture it, Shoshana, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, volunteered to walk the streets of New York City holding 2 microphones, while the director of the video walked ahead of her with a hidden camera strapped to his back.
I wanted to give to guys who maybe they consider whistling at a girl to see things from the other side.
Online, a firestorm. Some questioning if the comments shouldn't be considered compliments. But when we showed the video to a group of women,
even if somebody's just saying, "Hey, good morning, beautiful,"
you don't see women calling out to men in that way. You don't see like, "Hey, sexy," type butt, It's entering your personal space when you haven't been open to it.
All 3 of you could relate to this woman.
Yes.
Some critics suggest that the video sends a perhaps unintentional subliminal message that most harassers are black and Latino, leaving some questioning the choice of neighborhood. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
Important health news coming up, including new guidelines for reducing your risk of stroke.
And caught on camera, a UPS worker mishandling or manhandling, we should say, a package worth $12,000. How you can protect your valuable shipment.
Hope you enjoyed the warm, dry weather because it is out of here. Temperatures dropping, rain chances and snow chances rising. Details in the 7-day coming up.
A new vaccine for meningitis has just been approved by the FDA, and it's called Trumemba, and it targets the same type of bacteria that cause meningitis outbreaks on college campuses. Meningitis can spread quickly in areas where people live closely together, such as dorms, and until now, current vaccines only targeted 4 out of the 5 major types of bacteria that cause meningitis. This new drug targets the 5th.
Reducing your risk of stroke can be as simple as making a few healthy choices. Now the American Stroke Association has issued new guidelines to make those choices as easy as possible. And at the top of the list, eating the Mediterranean way, which includes plenty of vegetables, fruits, and fish rich in omega-3s. Also, exercise daily, limit salt, and don't smoke, or if you do, quit. And a piece of new advice if you take hypertension drugs. They suggest using a portable cuff to monitor your blood pressure at home daily. If your numbers don't improve, talk to your doctor about adjusting your meds.
A UPS delivery man caught on camera rolling a package worth $12,000. ABC's Tom Yamas takes a look at what's really happening to your packages when you're not looking.
We've seen it before, dreadful deliveries caught on camera. And tonight, that new video, a UPS driver on Long Island rolling and kicking that box. Inside, a sensitive pressure gauge worth $12,000.
I'm shocked. I see him push this box across the floor and then proceed to basically bowl it across the lawn onto the street.
And around the country, shocked customers uploading evidence to YouTube. Last year, this FedEx worker lost her job, busted hurling packages. In 2011, watch as this driver tosses a flat-screen computer monitor like a basketball. He was later disciplined. And 'tis the season. UPS and FedEx alone preparing to ship more than 850 million packages over the holidays.
So, when your special delivery doesn't arrive as planned, make sure to take a photo of that damaged box. Then open the box, look inside, and take more photos.
You don't get that insurance, it's like going to Vegas. You are rolling the dice. The shipper will say, we didn't do it.
In this latest case, UPS telling us tonight they're investigating this issue and have apologized to the customer. Tom Yamas, ABC News, New York.
Possible stormy weather headed our way. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has details up next.
Plus in sports, what is the status of Lakers rookie Julius Randle? We'll have the update on his leg injury coming up.
And the local city ordinance prohibits exotic animal performances. So what was this elephant doing at a lavish SoCal wedding ceremony?
piece of wreckage of Amelia Earhart's lost plane may have been identified. It's a piece of aluminum found back in 1991 in a tiny uninhabited island in the South Pacific. Researchers believe it's the same piece of aluminum that was custom-made to replace a window on Earhart's Lockheed Electra aircraft. Meanwhile, a 2012 expedition to the area where Earhart vanished was also found an anomaly in sonar imagery taken from the bottom of the ocean. A crew now plans to set off on a new expedition in June of next year to search once again for the plane wreckage.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan Novak joins us right now. We have Halloween right around the corner and all sorts of weather stuff going on.
A lot of stuff happening, David. Ellen, we have snow in the forecast.
Nice.
Love it. Fall's here. Fall's saying, I like Halloween, and I showed up just in time because we got rain in store for Friday night. Maybe squeaking out Halloween evening just before the rain arrives, though. So that's good news if you're looking to stay dry. For those few of you who want some shower activity, I think we might get out of the might be in the clear, so to speak. Malibu, speaking of clear, it was mostly clear, but at the end of the day, you see some of these high clouds streaming in here at that time lapse. That's some moisture from the south. I'll show you in just a moment. That was getting yanked up into our area today. It'll be there tomorrow. We're dry right now. That was the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD showing a dry picture, but it could be a little busy come Friday night into Saturday. 69, good evening, Long Beach. Calm winds, a beautiful evening. 75 in Burbank. 50 in Wrightwood and Big Bear. Start thinking about maybe a little bit of snow going into Saturday. 45 for you right now and 82 still in Palm Springs. High pressure has been our weather maker. That's why we were so warm yesterday and hot today with temperatures in the 90s in many spots. It's going to get nudged to the east. Why? Well, the big trough of low pressure is coming on into the area, and that's what this is right here. We have a front attached to that area low pressure that's going to move through. As it does, as it approaches all of this, it starts bringing up some of this tropical moisture here. We see the cloud cover from the south streaming into our area. That was what was on the Malibu time-lapse, and that we'll see tomorrow, as well as some clouds moving in from the west-northwest ahead of the front. Here's the forecast. The future rainfall shows everything really well, and the timing of it, high-resolution model here, Thursday into Friday. Stop it at Thursday, 4 p.m. Notice just a few clouds. The rain's still way off to the west and up to the north. Then we go through Friday. The clouds have moved in and thickened up. The rain getting close, but it's not till Friday night late into early Saturday morning, especially through Saturday morning, that we see the shower activity in place, maybe some snow. As we go into the Big Bear area in the mountains of Southern California, the high Sierra could see a lot of snow, up to 10 inches, but we could see about an inch. Anyway, let's talk about the rain for LA, Metro, and Orange County, because that's what's on the board right now. 78 tomorrow, down to 72 on Friday, and 68 only. That's your high temperature on Saturday. Chance of rain late Friday through Saturday, and then we cleared out from Sunday on. Sunday actually looks really good, by the way. Valleys, IE, 83 tomorrow, lower 70s Friday, and then you're only at 67 on Saturday. A shot at some rain, maybe up to 1/4 inch in some places before you warm up on Sunday. And then the mountains, very cold. 42 after a low of 27 on Saturday, and some snow, potentially about an inch over 6,500 to 7,000 feet on Saturday morning. Sunday looking really chilly. And then the high desert, only 60 for a high Saturday and Sunday. Windy mainly for you and maybe a light shower here and there. Dallas is going to have the latest on ABC7 at 11.
Thank you, Jonathan. It is a phrase most sports fans can't resist. Game 7. A World Series title is on the line in Kansas City and San Francisco, going for a third championship since 2010 as the Giants win 3-2 in a thriller. Highlights tonight at Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. In the meantime, a big loss for the Lakers last night when rookie Julius Randle broke his right leg midway through the fourth quarter. The 19-year-old underwent surgery today at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center to repair the fracture, and it went well. He's expected to make a full recovery, but it's anticipated he will miss the rest of the season. Byron Scott wasn't the only coach who felt bad about Randall's misfortune.
Adversity tests the true character of a man, and this is some adversity that we're facing. You know, with the young guy being out, and obviously some that he's facing, so I felt extremely bad for him. I was kind of crying, and I just told him to stay strong, and it's going to make him a better basketball player.
That broke my heart. It really did. I mean, honestly broke my heart. My first thought was, man, as a rookie, your first game, and the team leaves that night to go on the road, and you're sitting in the hospital room by yourself. I mean, honestly, that really tugged at me.
Derrick Rose on the comeback train, and Bulls taking on the Knicks. D. Rose easing his way back, and after nearly 2 years out of action, scoring 13 points and dishing out 5 assists. But he wasn't needed that much, at least to be a superstar self. That's because the big man combination of Taj Gibson and Pau Gasol combined for 43 points and 19 boards. Chicago completely demolished the Knicks in Derek Fisher's coaching debut. At one point, they were up by 30 points and went easy in the Garden, 104-80.
Animal activists are upset after an elephant was used at a wedding ceremony in Orange County, despite a city ordinance prohibiting wild animal performances. An animal rights group is urging the city to investigate. And here's Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes.
They are stars of the elephant world, known for roles in Hollywood films like 2011's Water for Elephants.
Just the way elephants flirt.
But now one of the pachyderms from the company Have Trunk Will Travel is the star of a brewing controversy in Huntington Beach. The huge animal used to carry a couple in a wedding ceremony there earlier this month. Something animal rights activists say is against city laws and dangerous.
You do not want to invite an elephant to your wedding. People, circus workers and kids and members of the public have been injured and killed.
Matt Rizal is with the group Animal Defenders International. Some of their members snapped these photos of the elephant in Huntington Beach on October 18th. Rizal says Huntington Beach police were called, but the officer sent to the scene failed to cite the elephant handler. In a written statement, the city of Huntington Beach said, quote, "As with many first-time offenses, it is the goal of the city to ensure businesses and residents follow the municipal code. In this case, through communications with the management at the Hyatt, the city is comfortable that the message was received." End quote. Rizal says his group has investigated the Paris, California-based Have Trunk Will Travel and provided this video to Eyewitness News. He says the handlers there are violent with the elephants.
We caught them on camera in an in-depth investigation, severely abusing, beating, and shocking their elephants. And so these are well-known abused animals that were brought to Huntington Beach.
Kerry Johnson, co-owner of Have Trunk Will Travel, disputes those charges, saying in a statement, quote, "ADI has made the same allegations time after time in the media and on your news station since 2011. Their allegations are false. We've seen some stories now about our elephant in the wedding. We're not interested in going back and forth regarding animal rights extremists' speculation in their grab for media attention." End quote. Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
ADI members are scheduled to meet with Huntington Beach city officials tomorrow, and they're hoping to convince the city to fine the Have Trunk Will Travel for violating that exotic animal law.
We have more news straight ahead here at 8:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7, another sign of our country's obesity problem. Crash test dummies are going to gain weight to save lives. Plus, Renee Russo enters the world of the TV news scene in L.A. What she's saying about her work in Nightcrawler, her new drama with Jake Gyllenhaal. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
This is Red Ribbon Week, aimed to keeping kids away from drugs, alcohol, and tobacco, and the kids at one local elementary school got the message across with a show.
It's time for everyone's favorite game show, What Should You Do?
That's Loyola Village Elementary near LAX. As part of this week's awareness campaign, the kids wrote essays and even put on a stage show about the dangers of drugs and alcohol.
When they grow up, they might take drugs, and they might remember this play and be like, I shouldn't take drugs because it's bad to take drugs, and I might end up in jail and die.
The Red Ribbon Week campaign evolved following the murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena in 1985. And today, a memorial to Camarena was unveiled and will be on display at the school.
We thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law & Order SVU is coming up next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com.
Remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and by downloading our ABC7 app. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8 right here on LA56. Have a great night.
Good night.